everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major bombshell today from Senator Josh Hawley. He just came out and revealed the truth. And he's also going after Adam Schiff and exposing Adam Schiff, okay? Senator Josh Hawley is not afraid anymore to get the truth out there because now that Trump is in office, Trump has Josh Hawley's back, all right? That's how it goes. Josh Hawley can now get the truth out there, and he's going to have the support from President Trump, from Ted Cruz, from Jim Jordan, from Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. Yeah, guys, Josh Hawley is getting the truth out there. So we're going to bring him onto the show, but before we do, we're going to read the Bible and pray because God comes first. Amen? Comment amen down below if you believe that God comes first. Today's Bible reading is Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Amen. So comment amen down below. And let's remember that God is our one and only true creator. The only one that we worship, right? Everything is created by God. All right, let's dive into the video, guys. All right, so Josh Hawley just came out and said that Kash Patel will open the books on FBI corruption, guys. Let's tune in.
Kash Patel has the endorsements of all the major sheriffs and police organizations, but he's hated by guys like Adam Schiff.
You've made a lot of people mad, haven't you, Mr. Patel?
Seems so, Senator.
You think maybe you made the right people mad?
As my FBI agents, the BRIC agents told me when I was running cases with them across this country and around the world, if you're not ticking off some people, you're not doing your job right.
Patel promised he wasn't out for revenge, doesn't have an enemies list, and that he disagreed with Trump's commutations of Jan 6 defendants who assaulted cops. Removing politics from the Bureau and fighting crime will be the man's mission. Senator Josh Hawley is on the Judiciary Committee, and he joins me now. We're going to get a lot of disclosure from Kash Patel, especially on January 6th. What
wow.
will it look like, Senator?
Well, number one, it'll look like a change, Jesse, because what we've gotten for the last 4 years is nothing but stonewalling. It's nothing but lies, frankly, from the FBI director when he's come before Congress. And the world deserves to know, the American people deserve to know exactly what the FBI's role was at January 6th. They also deserve to know what the FBI has been doing with its time. While they've been pursuing January 6th defendants, they haven't been putting drug kingpins behind bars. They haven't been going after child traffickers. They haven't been going after the drug cartels. It's time to get the FBI focused, Jesse, on, I don't know, criminals again.
Exactly. That's what we need, Josh.
And actually putting violent criminals behind bars. I think Kash will do that.
The Democrats look terrified, not really equipped to handle a guy like Kash. Are we going to learn things about Butler? Are we going to learn things about the Palm Beach attempt? What else are we going to find out here?
Something about Adam Schiff. I don't know, Adam. He's a little scared.
You know, something that he told me, Jesse, he pledged to me that he would open the books on what you just said. He would open the books on the assassination attempts. He would open the books on the FBI's lying to the FISA court, for example, when they went and lied to get wiretaps on the President Trump the first time around. He would open the books on all of their corruption. So you better believe the Democrats are worried because they've been cheering this on for the last 4 years. They talk about enemies lists and political persecution. The FBI has been their personal plaything, at least FBI headquarters has been for the last 4 years, and they're scared to death that Patel will end it. They're not worried that he will actually persecute political opponents. They're worried he's going to stop the FBI doing that because that's what they've been doing the last 4 years.
So it looks like he'll be confirmed. Tell me about Tulsi and RFK Jr. What are your colleagues on the Republican side thinking here?
Well, I hope that they're listening carefully to what both nominees said. I got to talk to RFK today under oath at the hearing. I thought he did spectacularly. He was honest. He was direct. He was forthright. As for Tulsi Gabbard, here's her real sin, Jesse, in the eyes of so many of the Washington establishment of both parties. Her sin is she challenged the surveillance state. She told the truth about the government spying on Americans, about the abuses of FISA. She went out there and was honest about it. And for that, she is getting absolutely roasted and persecuted. That's the real issue here.
Yeah, but you wonder why anyone would be mad at Tulsi Gabbard for exposing the deep, dark truth. Why do you think certain people don't want the truth to get out there? Right, Adam Schiff? I'm talking to you, buddy.
And I hope that Republicans will look at both of these individuals and say, these are truth tellers. These are people who are going to disrupt the status quo, and they're going to get their agencies, the government, back to serving the American people and telling us the truth. Wouldn't that be a refreshing change?
Do your Republican colleagues understand what's going to happen if they vote down Tulsi?
You know, I don't know. And I have to tell you, I'm worried by what I hear from some of my Republican colleagues. I'm worried that her nomination may be in jeopardy. And I'm just worried about what that will mean. It will mean that the reforms that we desperately need in the intelligence space, let's not just pretend everything is fine and dandy and hunky-dory in the intelligence community. It's not. Besides the fact that they have missed major, major issues.
Yeah, guys, we absolutely need Tulsi, right? Now, Josh Hawley in front of Adam Schiff just told Pam Bondi exactly what she needs to do, guys. Woo-hoo-hoo! They're not holding back anymore, guys. Let's tune in.
Thank you, Senator. I'm sitting here in the chairman's seat, General Bondi. It's a great feeling of power.
Do you have documents you want me to review?
Maybe some things I'd like you to sign. Let me just ask you here, and I think I may be your last interlocutor for the day, so congratulations. You've just done fantastic. Thank you for answering all of our questions. Let me just ask you about another of the abuses that this past administration perpetrated that is still in place, and I'm referring to the October 2021 memo from Attorney General Garland targeting parents at school board meetings. Do you remember this?
Yes, Senator.
What happened was, as I'm sure you recall, we now know the Biden administration, the White House, the Secretary of Education solicited a letter from the National School Board Association. They ginned it up. It was fake from beginning to end. They ginned it up, calling for law enforcement scrutiny against parents, tax-paying parents who were going to school board meetings, inquiring what their children were being taught, inquiring about face masks, critical race theory. And Attorney General Garland, you talk about bowing to political pressure. When the White House demanded he activate the FBI against these parents, amazingly, unbelievably, he did it. And he issued this memorandum in October of 2021. All of this time later, that memorandum has still never been formally rescinded. Even after the National School Board Association withdrew their letter, admitted they had been wrong to call parents potential domestic terrorists who were merely raising questions about what their children were being taught, Garland never apologized for it. He never did anything about it. It is still in effect. Here's my question for you. As Attorney General, if and when you are confirmed, will you finally rescind that memorandum and do right on behalf of all of these parents who have been wrongly, unjustly targeted by the FBI and DOJ?
Whoa.
Senator, I have not yet read the memo. If I am confirmed, I will read the memo and I will do the right thing, just like I told senators on both sides of the aisle regarding their issues.
Good. I look forward to you doing that, and I would hope this is something you could do on the first day after you're confirmed, to send a message to parents and law-abiding citizens everywhere. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. I bet the parents who went to these meetings, they're Republicans or Democrats, they have no partisanship, but they want to know that their First Amendment rights will be protected. And you rescinding that memo formally after, frankly, the current Attorney General lied to us about it for years would send a tremendous message. Let me just ask you about the one other thing, and this is something near and dear to me. We talked about this when you came to my office. The Department of Justice administers a fund called the Radiation Exposure Compensation Fund. This is a fund that helps pay for the health care bills of Americans who have been exposed to nuclear radiation by the government through no fault of their own. In the West and other parts of the country, the Department of Justice has administered that program for years. Senator Orrin Hatch actually wrote the initial bill. It has been in existence since 1990. It's been supported by senators from both parties. It's extremely important to my state because the state of Missouri, we have a lot of nuclear radiation that has occurred, still in our groundwater, still in our soil, not cleaned up yet. My question for you is, since you'll be in charge of administering it, will you administer that program fairly and equitably? Will you defend it? Will you make sure that radiation victims...
That's a really good question. You know what's cool, guys? Senator Josh Hawley is one of the only congressmen who actually cares about American people. How crazy is that?
Victims who are under the statute entitled to compensation from their government get what they deserve.
Senator, I was speaking about that with someone yesterday because I did not know, again, there's going to be a lot, if I am confirmed, that I don't know. That's why it's so important to keep an open dialogue with every senator from every state And yes, I am committed to looking at that. And I did not realize you have that horrific problem in your state.
Thank you very much. Thank you for answering our questions. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back my time.
Wow, I really like Josh Hawley, guys. Yeah, you know what's crazy is Josh Hawley actually had a big part of getting the truth out there about Adam Schiff. Take a listen, guys.
In the coming days, the Senate is expected to vote on whether the trial will permit any witnesses. And if they do, one senator has a plan to force votes on Biden, Schiff, and the whistleblower, whoever he is. Joining me now is Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, first off, you're not saying there should be witnesses, but who are the ones you'll call if you go down that path?
Yeah, my view is this, that if the Senate decides to call witnesses later this week, Brian, then we need to hear from Adam Schiff, number one.
Whoa, so Josh Hawley, he's pissed at Schiff.
Schiff, we know his staff had contact with the so-called whistleblower before the whistleblower filed his complaint. We know that Schiff's staff gave the whistleblower direction. I want to know what direction. I want to know what they talked about. By the way, Schiff lied about that. Why did he? I think we ought to find that out. Hunter Biden. We need to hear from Hunter Biden. He is right at the center of this. What was he doing in Ukraine? What was he doing with Burisma? And probably Joe Biden. What did Joe Biden know when he asked the Ukrainians to fire that prosecutor?
Whoa, so Josh Hawley's not even holding back anymore, guys. And take a look at this. Josh Hawley slam Schiff. And, you know, this is something we need to absolutely take a listen to, guys.
So what do you think about what Peggy Noonan says there?
Well, I don't think the question has yet been decided. Obviously, the Senate's going to make a decision on witnesses next week. But my view is this. We have admitted into evidence in the Senate all of the record compiled by the House, including all of their witness testimony, all the documents. It's all before us. What the House is really asking, the Democrats is asking the Senate to do, is to go out beyond that record, to go in search of evidence they haven't been able to find, in search of proof that Donald Trump violated laws that they can't prove. It's basically to turn ourselves into an investigative body and redo their case for them. I don't see any reason to do that. In fact, it would violate established past practice and tradition.
Wow, so Josh Hawley, he's legit, guys.
So here's Adam Schiff talking about why he says the president cannot be trusted earlier today. Watch this.
You can't trust this president. Do what's right for this country.
What? This guy's so crazy. What the heck is wrong with Adam Schiff, guys?
You can trust he will do what's right for Donald Trump. This is why, if you find him guilty, you must find that he should be removed.
What?
So that was actually yesterday, but he said a lot on the same theme again today. Senator, what do you say to that?
Well, I would say that we heard a lot today from Adam Schiff in that vein, and some of the things that really struck me, Martha, is he talked repeatedly about a coup, suggesting that President Trump's presidency was somehow illegitimate. He said that President Trump was a triumph for Russia greater than any achieved by the Soviet Union during the Cold War.
Wow.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I thought that today has really laid bare the hysteria that is motivating this impeachment inquiry. I mean, it is rabidly partisan.
It's so crazy what Adam Shifty Schiff it has done, you know? I didn't even know all that stuff. It's just beyond me. It's beyond me. Now, Senator Josh Hawley just came out and said that Trump is working to end the Democrats' forever war in Ukraine. Let's listen in, guys.
Joining us now is Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, you and I have talked about this now for years. The carnage, which I don't think Americans or most people around the world really have a real handle on, but it's in the hundreds of thousands dead from this war with no outcome that's positive in sight. Your reaction to the news today that the United States will not push for Ukraine to become a NATO member?
Huge relief. It's common sense. And Laura, it's another example of President Trump doing what he promised to do on the campaign trail.
Yep.
Well, let's be honest. Joe Biden saying, we're with you as long as it takes. That was never their plan. I've said this before. They've been telling members of Congress, the Biden administration, they told members of Congress for years that there would have to be a negotiated settlement. They just didn't have any idea how to do it. And now you've got Donald Trump, who is owning up to reality and saying, okay, I will do it. I will end this war. And I predict this to you, Laura. I think Ukraine will come out better with Donald Trump at the helm of these negotiations than they ever would have done if Joe Biden or Kamala had been president. They have no idea what to do. Putin didn't respect them. That's why they invaded in the first place. Trump is on the job and he's going to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, why would Like, why would they just want to keep this war going? It doesn't make any sense to me at all, you know? And it's like, yeah, Donald Trump is exposing this corruption. Look at this. Josh Hawley just came out and said that America is back on top with Trump exposing Democrats' corruption and propaganda, guys. Let's tune in.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is here. All right, so Pete Hegseth working out with the soldiers, a lot different than Lloyd Austin. What kind of message does that send?
Well, I think it sends a message that we finally have an administration that is ready to work, that can do the job, and that understands what the American people sent him there to do. I look at what Trump has done, Jesse, in his first 3 weeks. He is eliminating the corruption, and he is exposing the propaganda. And you look at what Joe Biden used this government to do. Corruption, corruption, corruption. Those USAID dollars flowing to everything America is against. Trans comic books in Peru, trans operas in Colombia, undermining U.S. interests, and then the propaganda that Joe Biden pushed using our tax money, and Trump is just uprooting it. It is amazing to see. He's giving this country back to the American people. It's what he ran on, Jesse, and he's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing everything that Biden didn't do, or just reversing it, and he's never been more popular. That tells you pretty much everything you need to know about Joe Biden. You can also see the difference in the vice presidential people. I mean, I don't think Kamala knew what AI was.
I'm sorry, guys. Kamala Harris is such an idiot.
Vance goes over to Europe and explains the U.S. policy. That's the kind of leadership we expect, but we weren't getting it. Why not?
Well, because listen, you had in the last administration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris people who just weren't up to the job. I mean, Joe Biden, the guy was barely sentient. Kamala Harris, she can't put a sentence together. They embarrassed us overseas time and time again, and you know that they weren't respected. Look at what happened in Ukraine. Putin goes into Ukraine. Why? Because he doesn't respect Joe Biden. You look at what China did. They walked all over us, cheated on trade. Look at what Mexico did under Joe Biden. Took away even more of our auto jobs.
Wow.
Nobody respected us because nobody respected them. But now you got a president in Donald Trump who reflects the strength of the American people, and he's saying, we're not going to be pushed around anymore. America is back. We know what we're doing. We're going to lead the world, and we're not going to be pushed around. And Jesse, I love it. I think the American people love it. They're ready for a strong leader, somebody who's going to stand up for the United States of America.
And that
boom, shakalaka. I love Josh Hawley, and I love President Trump. Yeah, Josh Hawley, you know, he's pointing out that the liberal Democrat Trump derangement syndrome, Trump haters are freaking out. They're panicking over Donald J. Trump and what he's doing. Let's tune in.
Now is Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, it is amazing that whether you call it turning over the rocks and seeing the creepy crawling things scatter, or just sunlight, the best disinfectant in Washington, man, they're panicking in the Democrat Party over this.
They're panicking big time, Laura, because their power base is being threatened. That's what's really going on here. I mean, look at what they're doing over USAID. This is because they've used that as their personal plaything. And that includes billions and billions of taxpayer dollars that have gone, to fund outrageous stuff overseas, like trans-affirming projects in Zimbabwe or whatever, but also, let's not forget, to fund their preferred media outlets like Politico. And who knows what other left-wing rags have been getting money, federal government money, from this agency, and there's been no accountability. So yes, what's happening is Trump is exposing all of this. He is cutting off the liberal supply chains, as it were, and the liberals are just losing their minds. They're totally losing their minds. We need more of it. You mentioned the IRS.
Yes.
I love it. I love Trump's idea to get rid of the Internal Revenue Service. Let's make it the External Revenue Service. Let's start making these agencies work for the American people.
Yeah, you know, they actually said that if they do tariffs and stuff, they could actually get rid of income taxes in America so that people wouldn't even have to pay taxes anymore. And liberals are still pissed about that? Yeah, I think they're a little brainwashed.
Well, I think Senator Chris Coons may actually have won the award for the most unhinged take on what's going on.
What?
If Elon Musk wins and our foreign assistance completely ends, who will cheer and who will win? The cartels will win, terrorists will win, Russia will win,
what?
China will win. This effort is not efficient It is not sane, it is not respectful, and it does not make America safe.
So let's just keep letting in millions of illegals? I mean, what is your logic here?
Well, he's not screaming like some of the other folks did, but this guy knows.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer, we will win, we will win. It's like, shut up, you guys lost.
Knows better, and I think they're really trying to figure out how do we get our sea legs in the resistance, and so now they've put themselves on the side of the profligate spenders in D.C., living up to the cliche of the big spending fat cat Democrats. They're just walking right into their own bad brand.
Yeah, so here's their message, I guess, Laura, to the American people, which is that, yes, we would love to waste your money. We'd like to take all of your money. We don't want to spend it on America. We don't want you to have better jobs. We don't want you to have higher wages. We don't want you to have a secure border. We'd love to go spend it overseas promoting the left-wing transgender policies. We want to make sure that the trans flag is flying everywhere. We want to make sure that we're pushing every left-wing pro-abortion policy we can. That's what we want to spend your money on, America. That's their message. I hope, Laura, that they run on this in the midterms. I hope they run on this forever. This is exactly what the American people rejected. And the Democrats wonder why we're so unpopular. That's why you're so unpopular.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too, guys, is now Josh Hawley is calling for an audit of the billions of dollars that have been sent over to Ukraine. This is amazing, guys. Finally, the truth is coming out. Let's take a listen.
Senator, I want to ask you, and I hope you'll accept this question. I should have asked it of Senate Majority Leader John Thune a little bit earlier, but we have two different news stories going on at the same time that come together. One is the Russia-Ukraine potential peace deal with the tensions between Zelensky and Trump. The other is the budgeting process there in the Senate and in the House. And today I know there are questions that if the Senate is putting together a budget, if they forward their budget, will it include new funding for Ukraine? There are some suggestions it will fund Ukraine for 2030. Is that something that you would get behind, that Senate Republicans will all get behind?
It's not something I will get behind. Absolutely not. We should not be providing an additional dime to Ukraine. What we ought to do instead, Will, is we ought to audit every single penny that has been spent on Ukraine. Do you know we have never had a full accounting of the $200 billion that we have spent on Ukraine? You talk about waste, fraud, and abuse.
That is crazy. They've never even audited that money. That's crazy to me. That's your taxpayer dollars, guys. Every one of you guys watching, they've probably taken so much of your money and sent it over to Ukraine. They never even done an audit yet. What a joke.
No idea where most of that money has gone. And no, we should not be tying the president's hands while he is in the middle of peace negotiations by funding the Ukrainian government. I think that is totally irresponsible.
For real.
Do you think, and I appreciate you sharing where you would stand on that, where would the rest of your Republican senators be? Will it be something they push forward with?
Well, I certainly hope not, and it better not be in this budget resolution that you just mentioned. The Senate is apparently going to vote on a budget framework tomorrow, and based on what you've just said, I'm going to go back right now and scour it, because I was told that there was nothing to do with Ukraine in that budget resolution, and they better not be trying to slip in something secret. I can tell you, if they do that, it will not have my support. We need to be standing behind President Trump as he seeks to bring peace to this region and peace to this war. And I will say again, Will, we need an accounting of every dollar we've already spent.
Yes, go. Let's get a legit audit of all that money. Now, we have a final video. You guys have to watch this. Josh Hawley just came out and said that there are two genders. Let's take a listen.
Senator, thanks for being here. Really fascinating exchanges here, tense exchanges. I think one could say ignorant exchanges that you're hearing from this judge. No one suspects that these EOs are about intersex, that really rare phenomenon. This is about transgender military members.
Yeah, and the judge knows better. What this tells me, Will, is the judge has already made her mind up. But she already knows how she's going to rule here. She's just itching for some reason to strike it down. And I can just tell you from a legal perspective, having looked at the things she was saying in open court, she's getting the law wrong. She talks about how the law affords special protections for transgender folks. That is just not true. They are not a special class of persons in our law. And by the way, it is time to end this gender insanity. There are only two genders.
let's just tell the truth. There are only two. And President Trump saying we're going to restore sanity to the military, to women's sports. We're going to start protecting women in locker rooms again from biological men. That is music to the ears of every reasonable American.
Wow, guys. So major bombshell update today from Senator Josh Hawley, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this one down below. And let me know your thoughts about all the truth coming out about Adam Schiff, about the Democrats. We'll talk to you soon.